I think I need to go back and talk about stories. I think I'm going to go back from time to time, and if I forgot something or if I remembered something that I didn't put in a previous part of my life, I'm going to just come back and say, you know, that part again, and I'll just make it an amendment. So anyway, when I was a kid, it was a violent place, and I used to fight a lot. I remember my first fight, I was in first grade, and this kid stabbed me in the eye with a pencil. Or he didn't hit my eyeball, but he hit right here, and we started fighting. We were on a second story, and it had these steel and concrete steps. We were, you know, and we rolled down those steps while we were fighting. I was 6 years old and fighting in the hood, and I used to fight a lot. It was something that was part of my reality. It was a violent place, and I would not let myself get picked on. If I saw someone who was abusing someone else, I would pretty much always stick up for the underdog and put myself in it. And I never ever in my life backed down from a fight. Well, I take that back. I have backed down in situations where I knew that it was wrong or dangerous, but for the most part, I never let myself, and that comes from teachings that I got from my mother. I remember being real little and riding with her on the city bus, and having some. I was riding with my mother on a city bus, and some guy tried to sell my mom a wig, and she's all, let me see, and she's all, is that real hair? And he's all, yeah. And she looked at the label, and it was synthetic hair, and she was, you fucking lied to me, you fucking asshole. And she was like all in a temper tantrum, saying, who do you think I am, some stupid woman? And it made that guy got off the bus right away. My mom intimidated the fuck out of that guy. So she was like, don't ever let someone try and fool you or take advantage of you, you know. So that was instilled early on. And I can remember when I was around in third grade, I must have been about 8 years old, 3 boys older than me and bigger than me beat me up. They all jumped me, and I ran home crying, and my mother was like, who hurt you? And I said, these guys, I don't really know them, they live on the next block. She grabbed me, and she was like, you know, she was a strong woman, and she grabbed me and says, come on, let's go. And she's like, you show me where they're at. And so we walked over to where these kids were hanging out, and she's all, which one hurt you? And I said, they all beat me up. And she got me in front of those guys, and she threw me into them. She goes, now you fight. And I said, well, look, they're bigger and older than me. She goes, then I'm going to kick your ass. And she started beating my ass right in front of those 3 kids. So I was like, damn, I'd rather fight them than her, because she's big and strong and mean and tough, and she's kicking my ass. So I just went at it with those guys. I started attacking them and just punching them and kicking them. And then that was the lesson. She goes, it doesn't matter if you're up against some greater odd than you. You fight, and you stick up for yourself, because if you don't, they'll never stop. And I was like, fuck it, okay. So from then on, you know, whenever I confronted that, I did it. I defended myself to, you know, to my extreme, and I had a lot of ability. I was a strong, fast, tough, smart kid, and I always won fights. I never lost. I could kick people in their heads, and you know, I just learned how to do this early on, and I knew how to choke people, and I beat the shit out of like lots and lots of people because they wanted to fight with me. So that's Yosemite Falls right there in the background, 2,425 feet. Oh, so okay, so one time when I had just first moved up here, I used to go up there a lot, like at least once a week. And I went swimming up there too close to the edge, and the water was going pretty good, and I almost went off. Yeah, it was really close. I was probably within 10 seconds of going over the edge, and what I did is it was flowing real quick and I was near the edge, and I'm like, I want to be on the other side, but I don't want to walk way up to the bridge and walk across. I could jump across real quick, and so I did. I jumped in and I just swam real hard, and when I got to the other edge, it was slippery and slimy and hard to scramble up, but I started to get swept down. I was like, I could go over right now. So I just scrambled my ass off and skinned my knees and my hands and everything, and I got up. And when I did that, I was like, fuck, that was stupid, man. And some people saw that, and they had a rope, and so I tied the rope to me, and they threw the rope across, and I tied it to myself, and I swam back that way because it was stupid. I almost died. That was a trip. That was dangerous. That was risky, but I've always felt protected in the river, in the water. And another time, I went rafting. I borrowed a one-man raft, and it was like May, and I think I have video of this somewhere. I'd like to put it up. And I went rafting by myself in April, maybe even March. I forgot. The water was really high and cold and fast. And it was my day off, and I was like, I'm gonna go rafting in the river. And I had a helmet, and I had a life preserver, and I had gloves, and I had swim fins and a boogie board. And I had my friend videotape it. And I jumped in the water. I did it several times. Okay, first I did it with the one-man raft, and I went to these rapids, the biggest rapids there, and when I got there, the water turned me upside down, and I was in a washing machine. And of course the raft got taken away, and my my paddle got bent, and so I just swam out, and it took the raft, and I had to walk downstream or drive my car downstream, and I had a hitchhike to my car, and then I had to go pick up my raft. And how I used to do it when I was by myself is I had a pickup and a motorcycle, and I could easily load and unload my motorcycle from my pickup. So I would leave my truck at the bottom, I would leave my bike at the bottom and drive my truck up and launch from there and float down to my bike, and then ride my bike up and come back and pick up the raft. Anyway, so the first time I tried it, the river took my raft, and I almost drowned. Well, I don't know, not really, but it was an adventure. And so I thought I'll try it again the next year, and when it's a little bit lower. And the river took my raft. It launched me on a rock that was like sharp like my finger, and my ass was on the finger, and I was stuck in the middle of the river, and the water's flowing all around me, and I'm like stuck there, and I knew that if I moved, that it was going to rip the raft in two, and there was nothing I could do, so I moved and it ripped the raft in two and sank and put me in a washing machine again. So that was quite an adventure. So the next year I'm like, all right, so I'm not going to go on a one-man raft. I'll boogie board it. I mean, I had a lot of crazy adventures. One time I jumped into a dam spillway. We had a dam by my house, Santa Fe Dam, and during a certain time of year they would release the water, and I jumped in it. I went out there with my friends, and they were all saying they were going to do it, and no one did, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it. And I jumped in. It must have been 8 feet tall and probably 30 feet across, and 8 feet tall of water. It was just going, well, maybe not 8, maybe 4, but still it was going really good. And I jumped in it, and with an inner tube, and it immediately took the inner tube away, and I was in a washing machine at the bottom of the spillway, just going like this, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. And I thought, I only have one chance. I have to hit the bottom with my feet and bounce off as hard as I can and swim to save my life, and that's what I did. And I got out, and my friends were just rolling uh, on the side right there, watching me and laughing their ass off. And I'm like, guys, didn't you realize that I was close to death? And they're like, yeah, but it was funny. Those fucking assholes. And they didn't care. Yeah, they would have felt bad if I had died, but luckily I'm Superman. So, or I was Superman.